Mics are hot. Chat is live. I think we're ready for a show, folks. Tonight's comic conversation. It's Thursday. Once again, we have a great show for you. As always, tonight we're talking all about Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, and a whole bunch of other news as well. We're going to be talking for a little bit of time about the Brie Larson stuff, but we're going to wait because we do want Chris and Justin to be a part of that conversation as well. They're running a couple minutes behind, so we will kind of bump that down just a little bit, get some of the other topics kind of, hate to say, out of the way because they're important and fun as well, but we'll definitely be touching on all of that. So I do want to give a shout out to Take the Time Collectibles. He is in the chat. He was first. Congratulations. Also, check out his channel. He has a really cool contest going on. He did hit 100 subscribers, and it's a really cool contest that basically, if you enter, you pretty much win. So it's pretty cool in that regard. I think he's got 100 winners for it, one for each of the people. So phenomenal. That guy just, he's awesome. So definitely give him some love and some support, and check out his whole channel, but especially that contest video. But I do see Nick Miller popped in as well. So normal format is on this show, do some updates first. So I want to ask you, how have you been in the past week? Anything going on in the collecting world, or know you've been busy with the eBay page for a while? So
yeah, not really much buying right now, just in a season of selling a lot of stuff. I'm actually selling, probably going to be selling most of my major keys, but I'm going to try to get rid of as much of the little stuff first as possible. I'm just trying to get rid of some debt, and I want to be debt free, and so just some things I'm really going to be unloading here in the next few months. So other than that, pressing books for people as always, and just trying to stay current with movies, comic books, that type of media.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, there's always so much to keep up with, and just when you get caught up, there's so much more. It's crazy. And you're absolutely right. Debt free is the way to be. So,
yep.
So, cool. So yeah, I've been doing same old over here on the channel. Got some other history videos. I'm always looking for ideas for new characters or whatever to kind of highlight in those history videos. Got quite a few in my queue already. Also, I'm going on Sunday to a convention in West Palm Beach, so I'm looking forward to that. Should be pretty fun. Get some SIGs.
Is that a big convention?
It's Comic-Con Revolution puts it on. So they run one in Ontario, I think one in California, and then one here. Last year it was just the one day because I guess they were just sort of testing the market. And that's a long way of saying it's grown in size from last year. The organizer, kind of the organization itself, is not that big, but I think this year they've attracted a lot more quality talent. I know they were supposed to have Chris Claremont last year, and he canceled, but he's still on the bill, so to speak, for this year. So you got folks like him, a bunch of people. We can talk about that later. In terms of the guest list, should be pretty good folks. I'm looking forward to that. So that's Sunday. So if you're going there, if you're listening here, so this show, we are, let me need to say this for a while. We are award nominated. Last time that we did the YouTube Comic Community Awards, we were nominated, I believe, in every single category, if not every one but one. So that was pretty cool. But I lost my train of thought there. So it's pretty cool having that. So if you are listening to us there, if you are listening here, or if you're listening to us, on any of the streaming services where we broadcast the podcast, definitely, if you see me, if you want to know anything, I'll be at there on Sunday. Give you a business card. I got to bring some of those in me. But yeah, be looking forward to that. So enough of that. Let's get into the topics. Okay. Like I said, we're going to touch on the Captain Marvel stuff in a minute. A couple of quick things that kind of came up as I was looking for things today. Oh, there we go. He put some of them. Donnie Cates. Donnie Cates is kind of making the rounds in the whole weekend. And it was going to be at a shop. I think it's down in Miami on Saturday, so he's going to be busy. And he says, take the time collectibles for a smaller show, a decent list. Yeah, absolutely. Amanda Connor, she and Jimmy were the replacements last year when Chris Claremont canceled, because they live in Florida but out in like the Tampa area. So the organizers were like, crap, we lost Chris Claremont. That was like our main guy. What can we do? So they called up Jimmy and Amanda, and because they're so close, they're able to take the drive over. And then like Billy Tucci and Frank Thierry were there. Those are all pretty good friends, so they were all sharing a booth together. So yeah, it turned out pretty good. So that was cool. But I learned today that Rami Malek is going to be he's in final talks right now to join Bond 25 as the main villain. So I know that's not really like there is a comic for it, but I really do like the Bond franchise, so I follow that. So kind of sprinkle that news in here too. Rami Malek was in Bohemian Rhapsody, won an award for that, didn't he? With his
I don't remember. I don't think I've seen that. Yeah.
Oh, Nick says Tampa's there. Yeah. So he was in there, won an award for that movie, and he's a pretty decent actor. So that's pretty cool. Cool get, so to speak, for a Bond villain. I think that fits him pretty well. Next thing is that Hellboy. Hellboy's in the news again. It got an R rating from the MPAA. That's the Motion Picture Rating Association, basically. And the R rating is for strong, bloody violence and gore throughout and language. So there we go. If you guys are wondering if it would be too jokey and not violent enough for Hellboy or whatever, there you go. It's got an R rating now. Also, next thing, Warner Brothers is going to make a John Constantine TV series starring Matt Ryan. So that should be interesting.
Matt Ryan, the football player?
Yeah, right.
That's who comes to mind.
Yeah.
I would look him up. I don't know that Matt Ryan.
Yeah, different Matt Ryan.
Okay.
And then the other thing, just in the kind of the quick news kind of portion here, is that Gremlins animated series is in the works. It's going on the streaming service for Warner. So that's pretty interesting.
And I saw it today. I don't know how true it is. I just saw it like maybe a couple hours ago. Somebody posted on Facebook. They're doing a Critters also.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So those little horror shows, movies from the 80s, kind of making a comeback.
Yeah, exactly. Bunch of stuff. They're getting rebooted, relaunched, all that. It's that almost 80s nostalgia, early 90s too. So there you go. Will Smith decided to exit the Suicide Squad. So he's out.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say it. Oh, okay. I was going to say the genie.
Yeah. No. For the Suicide Squad. So it wasn't ever official that he would be back, but I know that they did want kind of those big names to come back. And we were talking about who would be good. I think was it last year or the show before, kind of like replacement characters. And none of us thought that Deadshot would be back, but yeah, he confirmed that nope, I am definitely not coming back for that new one. So
that's gonna be tough, man, because they're also without Margot Robbie as well, right?
Yeah,
they're without her. They're without Batfleck. They're without Will Smith. That's gonna be a tough sell. I hope they got some names that they can throw in there.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do fine with it. They're gonna go. It's not like a true sequel. It's just like a new team and a new story.
Yeah,
with the same team name. So
yeah,
they can go like we're talking about. Well, if you guys want to know our list, it was on that previous show. It's in the title there. But since we're talking about those movies, Aquaman 2 finally got a release date. That's going to be December 16th, 2022. So
nice.
That one's kind of locked in. I don't know what the story will be. I don't think anybody does at this point, but they seem to pull from the New 52, and they already did the origin. So I guess whatever comes after that. So there you go. Stan Sakai, you know who he is, right?
No.
Okay, so he created Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The Ninja Rabbit.
Yep.
Very long running series, and he's done the whole thing all the way through. It's his thing. He wanted to do it. Kind of like showed up with the turtles and everything. So we got news that That book is jumping over to IDW starting in June with a new volume, new number one.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like, he's been doing it for 24 years. It's been published by Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm.
You go through this whole thing and it's like, where do I jump on? Like, how, I'm interested,
What reason does he give for going to IDW?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Because that's where the Turtles are being published by.
Yep. And that was one thing I wanted to mention. Now they're kind of in that same home as Turtles. So
there'll probably be an appearance or something.
I'm sure they're gonna do like a crossover type of thing.
Yeah, crossover.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And it's traditionally black and white, so hopefully it'll be full color and stuff. But it could be a money thing. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's just licensing, and he Stan shopped it around and found a good deal over with IDW. I'm not sure, but I think it's a pretty good fit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I know that Usagi has some like really diehard fans who follow it all the way through. It's kind of like the Savage Dragon fans, sticking with it, like doesn't matter. We're just buying those issues, It doesn't matter like how big of a print run it has or whatever. They're just so it's similar with that, no matter, they're gonna follow wherever. It doesn't matter where it's published, it's still Stan doing it. So did you see the new Dark Phoenix trailer or the poster?
I saw the poster, but I didn't see the trailer yet. Like I said, I've been pretty busy. I kind of got the news on these things late, but I have been seeing people react a little bit to it here recently on social media. But I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, it's better. I'm still not really excited for the movie. I still feel like I don't think it's gonna do so well. Let me just tell you that. I don't think it's
just based on the trailer, huh?
Yeah, they're like, we already like shot this thing and paid for the damn thing. We just gotta put it out, So that's a shame. But
yeah, who knows, man? God, man, I think everybody wants it to do good because of X-Men property, but I don't know. I feel like the Phoenix has already been done.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, definitely. Even like the same that long red coat, she even had that before in the first time. But that's like one of the best stories, arguably, of all time. The Dark Phoenix saga, and that's the one story you're gonna screw up. It's a shame. So there's that. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It's a video game coming out. We don't know what platform yet it's gonna be on. I'm hoping PlayStation, because that's what I have. They revealed that they're going to be in Chicago for Celebration. That's coming out in April. They're doing like a special panel thing where you're going to get like a really good kind of first look at this and the whole like Order 66 and the Padawan that I think that's what the character that you'll be.
This is the one that's done every 2 years, right? The Star Wars
Celebration. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's annual, but for some reason they skipped last year. Normally it's in Orlando. This year it's in Chicago. But yeah, it's that same event. That's probably where we'll get some type of footage or like a behind the scenes reel for maybe episode 9, but probably The Mandalorian. But with this game, like you're this Padawan, like this young Jedi. No, well, not quite a Jedi yet. And you survive Order 66, right? So you're going through all your other Jedi brethren are dead, and that's kind of the premise for it. It's coming out later this year, but we're gonna get our first look in April, so not too far away.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. They also have Galaxy of Heroes, which is a phone game, and then a pinball game as well. That will be
really,
an
actual pinball.
I think it's like a digital pinball game, because remember we were talking about Balance of the Force. Yeah, Balance of the Force, which is kind of one of the rumored titles that was kicking around for a while. That was a pinball game, digital pinball game that did really well, actually. But I don't want to forget about the chat. Let me jump over to the chat. So we get Jason Smith, Mr. Unknown Comics guy. Stay Puffs here. Jack Yo. I'm glad this X-Men Fox universe is over. Yeah, I think it's time, right? Kind of should have died along with Logan, right? That would have been a good time. But I'm hoping that New Mutants is good. Even if it does end up on Hulu, hopefully it's good. especially with that horror angle they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
So Take the Time Collectible says there are multiple Star Wars pins, 4 he believes. So that's pretty good. That's a good amount. They do really well with those.
So do you think they put Gambit out or no?
Oh yeah, no, Gambit's not happening.
It's
No
been
way.
shelved.
Yeah, no way. No Gambit, no Multiple Man, no nothing else. Yeah. Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, and that's it. And they're only going forward with those because they were already basically shot and done. And they do reshoots and whatever, but they already dumped so much money into those. They're like, well, might as well just put them out. But anything that hasn't gone into production yet is just done. There's no way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody that went out and spent all that money on those Uncanny X-Men 266, they just sit on them for a while.
Well, I don't know. I think it's still a good book to have, and
yeah, it's a good book to have. That, you don't want to pay a premium for it.
Yeah, exactly. I would wait a little bit, and then check the prices. There's definitely going to be a dip. I'm sure there already has been.
Yeah.
It's going to be. It's kind of hard to say because when they do announce the X-Men, we don't know what team they're going to choose.
That's true. So maybe Gambit
is Gambit is a popular character, so it's not unreasonable to think that Kevin Feige wouldn't choose him. If they go with like the '90s teams or whatever, he was pretty prominent there. So.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Nick Miller has a 266, so that's good. Yeah, it's a good book to have, I think, regardless. But so there's that. And then we'll get into let's talk about the Walmart stuff right now. So there's let me just specify what I mean by that. So there was talk about reshuffling with DC. We've been following along with the story since people have been let a bunch of the people go. Some of the VPs reshuffling there. We talked about DC Collectibles and Todd McFarlane picking up the licensing for that, which is awesome, by the way. And then they were also talking about some stuff specific to the comic books in terms of kind of an oversaturation with the market in some areas. There was talk about very recently, this week even, about the DC exclusives at Walmart, the 100-page giants. Those have been doing pretty well in kind of the secondary market in terms of resale value, right? They're going for like 30, 35, $40 for some of those, like the Lois Lane one. So they were talking about Dan Didio, right? He's a co-publisher. I think that's still his title. He was talking about how there's a lot of books right now. They kind of want to get back to some of the core books that they have and trim the line by 10 to 15%. Right. He said, among other things. So there was a summit. It was the Comics Pro Summit. I think it's put on or kind of associated with Diamond, but that's not really relevant to the story. So he said, we're rethinking ways to build collections, including adding material in the print versions that will not be available in the digital. So they're talking about reducing the number of collected comics out there, all the trades and, collected editions, because there's a lot out there and it just makes them a little bit less special is kind of what his angle was. But kind of coming out of this news was that the Walmart books would be canceled. They weren't going to make them anymore. They were going to be part of that 10 to 15% culling of the line. And people were like, oh, damn it. Well, that sucks. But that's not true. So what's actually happening is they're going to grow them. There's going to be more. What they're going to be doing is reprinting them and making them into trades that will actually be available on the direct sales market side.
So at your LCS.
Shops. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they'll have the books, but your shops will be able to order the trades for you as well. So it's the exclusivity portion of it that's ending. So that I think that's where people were confused, right?
Which means they're going to have to go through Diamond, because I don't think Diamond brought them to Walmart, did they? Because that was probably through Walmart. that they were able to get them on the shelves.
Yeah, I think it was a more of a direct sort of distributor of
Yeah.
those directly to Walmart. So yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that, man, because I feel like it's going to be, they're just going to give it that high glossy zinc paper and jack up the price. And I thought it was such a bargain. $5 for 100 pages of comic. I know it was newsprint, but I mean, in this new modern uh, era, modern age, you couldn't get a better deal, in my opinion, for a new book.
yeah. I like the idea of them being available everywhere though.
I do, but not if I'm gonna pay like $8 for it or
Yeah.
$10, because then I'm just not gonna get it.
Right. Well, we'll see how that goes. Because right now what they're saying is that they're going to be made into trades.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe single issue wise, it'll still be at Walmart, and then the reprinting or the collected edition of it will be
Yeah,
what you can buy
because they were putting
from your
out
shop.
4, right? It was like Batman, Superman, Justice League, and Teen Titans, right?
And then I think Swamp Thing just started coming out too.
Yeah, didn't you
Yeah.
get Wonder Woman too?
Yeah, I think there's a Wonder Woman as well.
So yeah, they're gonna like just throw them all in one. Dude, you're talking like a 400 or 500 page.
So okay, so Nick said they canceled Teen Titans and Justice League and added Flash, Wonder Woman, and Titans. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, so they're going to be very, in terms of the exclusive ones, just a finite run on those. But it'll be good to see. Shout out to Lords of the Long Box. He's having the folks from Comic-Con on the show next week. So what'll be cool is well, not next, but when they start going directly through Diamond, to the shops or whatever, they'll be able to track print runs, not sell-through rates, just print runs, sales to shops, those types of figures. So we'll get a little bit more accurate data on how many are being printed, on those books. So it'll be good. All right. Jackie says Walmart is still going to have the $5 books, right? Yes, they are. Those are not ending. Contrary to what you might have read or heard out there in the media circuit, they are continuing. And
so they'll have them both.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I from what I hear, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, they sell out every time I go there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so they're not doing away with those. They are trimming the line down, some of the lower selling books, and we could go through the Comic-Con list and figure out what those are, if we wanted to. But what they want to do is kind of refocus on the core stuff and the best selling stuff and give more of that versus stuff that people aren't buying. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good move. Especially like I said, like the shops in on that is definitely a good move in my opinion. So, but what's up, Chris? How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Just talking about topics. What do you think of the Walmart? Did you hear what I was saying about that?
Not all of it. I heard something about they're still gonna have the $5 books, and they're going to, I guess, be releasing information on, I guess, how many books are not books, toys, I guess, that are gonna be. Is it action figure stuff? That's what I think I was getting out of it. I don't know.
No, we were talking about the 100-page giant books, the Walmart exclusives.
Yeah.
So they're not ending. You may have heard people say that line is ending, that imprint, so to speak, is ending, but it's not. It's continuing, and then they're going to be opening it up to shops, at least initially as trades and like collected editions of those. So,
and I assume that this is coming from the fact that they've noticed that those books sell really well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They sell well just because, like, was it like the first week they come out, people can go ahead and just buy a bunch of them and throw them up.
Yeah, well, you can't. You can make some money at first, but it also depends on the significance of the issue. Because, like, when they first come out, I think Teen Titans was the very first one that was going for like 30, 25, $30 on eBay because it had like a first appearance of a character. And now you can get it on there for like 5 or 10. So it's really dwindled down. But like I was telling Jesse, it just at $5 for 100 pages, it's such a good bargain. That I feel like people were just kind of snatching them up just because they were just good to have for $5.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a bunch of the Swamp Thing one, the first Swamp Thing one.
Yeah.
And, still have a few actually because I was trying to get rid of them. I just got them just because I mean I like not because like I wanted to read the story, but then I was just like there was a ton of them, and it was like if other people want them, but
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not all of them moved. So, but yeah, I feel like it also just depends on who's around in your area and everything like that because. I've heard some areas, some Walmarts just, I mean, they get absolutely like just ravaged. And then, mine, the one up near me, just there's a ton of them. I mean, just pretty much, and I haven't been following, like which books, like the good ones all the time. So I just kind of threw my name. I just went ahead and took a step and was like, oh, let me go ahead and get these Swamp Thing ones. But I bet you they probably still have like the first run of them that you were saying that people were like looking for way back whenever. But I just didn't feel like doing the research. If I did, I probably could have made a little bit more money. But
yeah,
I think they're on issue number 8 now.
Is it 8 already? Well, 8 months in. Like they're monthly, right?
They were supposed to come out twice a month, but I don't know if it's like 2 shipments of the same book or if it's.
Oh, okay. Like a restock.
Two different numbers. Yeah, 2 different numbers in the same month.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll be honest with you. I haven't really read them. I went and I saw some of them. I just didn't, even at the great price, I just didn't have the urge to pick
you weren't
them up.
inclined again.
Yeah. You kind of dig through them and you can tell that they've been, people are rifled through them and beat them up, and just,
kids grab them, and
as collectors, we like our good quality stuff. So yeah,
man, it's not near mint. I don't want it.
Exactly. But I mean, what do you expect? It's Walmart employees. They don't know the hobby like we do, so they just it's a magazine. It's a magazine rank, So. All right, cool. Do either of you? Well, Chris is on mute, but do you, Edwin, watch Arrow or Legends or any of the CW stuff?
I did watch the first season of Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
I liked it. I mean, I liked it a lot, but that drew me because I was a big fan of the guys from Prison Break. But I just kind of lost interest a little bit. It got kind of cheesy a little bit, but it wasn't a bad show. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Which show?
For what it was.
Well, I was asking about any of the CW ones, but specifically Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow.
I saw season 1 of Arrow, and that was it.
Yeah, I never watched Arrow.
I started watching The Flash, but my thing was just because I jumped into it late, so I haven't watched many of those shows. I just one of those things where I didn't jump on in the beginning. I mean, I probably could go back and just binge watch, I guess, up till, I guess, now to try to get myself up to date. But I don't know. I have so many other things that I could be watching too that I missed out. I mean, even when I think about, let's see, still have the Marvel shows on Netflix. I get if I was able to jump into Walking Dead, I think I'm like something like 6 or 7 seasons behind. So it's just like there's a lot of that stuff that I end up missing out on. But I've heard good things though. That's what I would say. Like I've heard good things, and I think that every single one of those, if they're over like 3 or 4 seasons, they all have that one season that everyone's like, yeah, just skip that one. That's what I've heard about Arrow. I've heard about Flash, and I think Supergirl actually got that same thing. Was like, yeah, you can just skip this season, but the rest of it's pretty good. So
yeah, yeah. I haven't watched them in a while, so kind of fell off. They kind of got a little I'm gonna beat you over the head with this agenda of mine-ish,
Yeah.
So I backed off. But the whole reason I'm talking about this is last month, I think it was, we got news that they were renewing the seasons, right? And that next season, the event would be Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, wow.
There's been talk about Arrow being canceled for a while, and what's his face? The dude that should have been using for the movies.
Flash.
Arrow, the Arrow guy.
Oh, Stephen Amell.
Yeah, Steve Amell. He was like, no, it's not. We just renewed for another season. So now they're talking about that these two shows are actually going to end after Crisis. The CW Arrowverse, if it'll still be able to be called that, will be drastically different. And that the 2019 to 2020 broadcast year is going to be the last year for those two shows. So that should be interesting for those fans. Batwoman's coming, right? So maybe some of these characters will just shuffle around and move to other shows because there's a pretty good, cast amongst them all. But it looks like those two shows are on the way out. And Legends, I think it was Legends, was not involved in the last event. And then you couple that with the news of Arrow kind of being on that edge. They've been playing every season for the past 2, I think, maybe 3, as if it were the last season. So they've been seeing it coming as well.
Well, I got to be honest, I'm kind of glad we're talking about this because I actually kind of forgot about those CW shows because, there's just so much other stuff to watch that's available to us. But I'm definitely going to go back and kind of revisit some of that stuff because they're still on Netflix, right?
I think they put some of the earlier seasons up, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Arrow definitely was.
Yeah.
So was Flash. And I think Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends, yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about everything else, though.
You know what? I
think Supergirl was on there, too.
I want to say I saw it on my queue. Yeah.
I think Supergirl is kind of a weird one because I'm not sure if it made it on there. Because I know the first season was ABC. So I don't know if it had like a different if it had kind of like a different way about it, because ABC, I think, I'm trying to think if it's ABC or CBS. One of them has their own kind of like streaming service where it's just like, oh, you can watch this on our website, and they don't really license out to other things. But I don't remember. I think it might be on there. I'm not sure. I haven't looked for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Home of the NY Warriors, he says they're all on Netflix. So
okay.
Okay, so as we get further confirmation on that, we'll definitely pass that along to y'all.
So Crisis is going to be next season?
Yep, Crisis is the next season's event.
And can I assume that's going to span across all the episodes? All the
shows? Yeah. It'll definitely. And, that's always, there's a couple important deaths that happen in those. So that may kind of tie into some of this news, right?
Okay. I'm mad because you guys, I posted in the chat that I'm only one book away from having a complete run of 9.8.
Hey, that's right.
CBCS, and like as soon as I get that last one, it's going on eBay. But golly, man, that means I gotta get to hunt and find one.
Yeah. As they finish up and announce the next season, that news will be out there and around. So
yeah.
So. Cool. And the other thing is some more Disney Fox news. We talk about that every other week. It seems like, hey, back from the restaurant. I see.
Oh yeah, super full of cake and ice cream.
Nice.
Yeah.
So cool. So the whole crew's here. Sweet. So we're just gonna get into Disney Fox updates. Big thing happened this week. Final hurdle for the merger, which was approval in Brazil. Basically what Brazil said is, yep, it's fine, because the South American market is massive, especially with Fox Sports. So what they have to do is actually sell off Fox Sports. It's the largest broadcaster of all the games in the South American market. And that's kind of their stipulation for approval. So that's done. That was the last sort of market that required approval. They already got the EU and everybody else. So probably the next thing that we're going to get is the actual announcement that it's done. We're ready to go. And the projection is mid-March. So that's pretty exciting. And kind of incidentally, the same thing happened on the other side with the distinguished competition. A judge approved AT&T's official takeover of Time Warner, who are the ones who own DC and all that. So that's pretty cool as well. It's like I think it was like a 3-0 decision on that. So pretty good. They said that the Justice Department didn't understand the laws right. They misapplied the laws. They didn't have a really good case. So the judge was like, "Yeah, you're good. You guys can merge." So there's that. Now jumping back to Disney, talking about the news, and I'll kick it over to you guys in a second. I just want to get these things out. Disney is talking with AT&T, who I just mentioned. That's why I wanted to mention those two things and then bring it together, to acquire Warner's stake in Hulu. So it's confusing. Disney has 30%. Fox has 30%. When they combine, that'll be 60%. Comcast/NBC, they're that last 30%. But they bought out Warner, right? So Warner had a 10% stake at the time. So what Disney wants to do is buy that 10%, and that will make their share 70%. So they'll have a huge, 60% is already a majority, but 70%, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize so many people had their hand in that.
Yeah, I mean, most people say 30-30-30, but when Comcast bought Warner, Warner had a 10% stake at the time, and that's that. They're not going after the full 30, like the 100% of it. They're just basically they would knock down Comcast to 20%. Right? Yeah. Is that right?
No, they have 70, knocking down to 30, right?
What am I
saying? Do they own what's left?
90. No, I mean,
because you said they had 60, they're trying to get the 10 so they could get up to.
So they'll have 70%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bob Iger kind of commented on it. He said that Hulu will stay adult oriented, which is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adult oriented. But Disney Plus will be in the family friendly wheelhouse. So that's how they're gonna kind of separate things. You did have a question from Daniel. Did you get? Are you on to Fan Expo, right?
Yeah,
you're talking to
going
him.
back
Okay.
and forth. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, now that the gang's all here, I think we covered all the new. Oh, I didn't ask you guys what you thought of that. Is that fine? You good with that 70%, or is that too much for them to have? I feel like eventually they're just going to go after everything and just be like, let's just own this whole thing. But now that we're all here, let's jump into the old Captain Marvel Brie Larson news that has earned the subject line of this show. I think that might be what some people are waiting for. So I figure we could do this kind of chronologically. Wanted to tackle it with the facts, at the exact things that were said. Next time, exactly. The exact things that were said. And then, we have a good range of perspectives here. So I definitely like that, aspect of what we're going to debate, I think. And we're all friends here. So, differing opinions, but, we'll come out the other side as friends. So definitely, I know that this has been a very divisive subject. So please, in the comments or in the live chat, definitely want to hear your opinions. But just keep it respectful for the other people, right? So that's what I want to say about that. So anybody want to go first? You want me to just run with it?
Well, yeah, lay out. And there might be some people in the chat that don't know what's going on, so
okay,
just lay it out. Right.
All right. So you've probably heard about a movie coming out pretty soon called Captain Marvel. It's our last stop before Endgame, right? And it stars. Yeah, there you go. Oh, sweet. Stars Brie Larson. Brie Larson is what Kevin Feige called. I forget what he called her, but basically she's an unknown. Most people don't know who Captain Marvel is, so this was a little bit of a risk, which is probably why they positioned it right before Endgame.
She's a wild card.
That's right. She did win an Oscar for Room, right? Which was a pretty cool movie, pretty dramatic movie, I should say. So,
yeah, it was a. Not a lot of people have seen Room.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
Right,
it's on Netflix.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and that was the thing is everybody when she was first announced, like I think. If I remember correctly, we were all pretty excited. We were like, oh, okay, well, yeah, she'll do a good job, And then, you know, there have been, it seems like, miscues or either information reported incorrectly. Like, it can't be as big a cluster as what people are trying to make it out to be. You know what
exactly. I mean, we were all in school, you know, let's say middle school, the game telephone, right? You get all the students, line them up. One person on one end has a message, you pass it down, and chances are by the time it gets to the other end, it's a completely different message, or, you know, drastically different at least. That happens a lot. So that I think that's happened a bit here. So that's why I want to give the direct quotes. And I would encourage anybody, you know, don't just believe what you're told to believe. Go to the source, hear it for yourself, you know, formulate your own opinions with that. You know, listen to those quotes or those interviews and kind of the context around it as well. And I think that's what some people are missing. I don't mean, I'm talking just generally. So when they hear something like Brie Larson hates white men, or Brie Larson is racist, or something like that, you know, it's taking things out of context, and that whole telephone phenomenon, it's in effect. So I'm going to back up to last year, to June of 2018. She accepted an award with the Crystal and Lucy Award for excellence in film. It was the Women in Film kind of festival for that. And she gave her speech, and this is where a lot of people have taken some of the quotes said.
This is for the Wrinkle in Time, right?
Exactly right. So there was a study done by Annenberg, and Annenberg has kind of followed along with what she's she has an inclusion writer, and they're part of that as well. There's other people that do too, like Tessa Thompson, Michael B. Jordan. So it's not just her that has that. That basically means that there needs to be more diversity in the hiring, more people in the cast that kind of represent whatever the background is, or the demographics of the area that they're filming. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what that means. So she was giving her speech, and she said, and this is a direct quote, okay, of the 100 highest grossing movies in 2017, less than a quarter of the critics were white women, less than 10% were underrepresented men, and only 2.5% were women of color. And again, she was quoting that that study. And then she said, what does that mean, David? And then she said, I don't want to hear what a white man has to say about A Wrinkle in Time. I want to hear what a woman of color, a biracial woman, has to say about the film. I want to hear what teenagers think about the film. So, and then it goes on, and this is all the quote, and then I'll give we'll give our opinions afterwards. But then she says, if you make a movie that's a love letter to women of color, there's a chance that a woman of color does not have access to review or critique your film. Do not say the talent is not there, because it is. So people kind of took out of this some of the messages about, you know, I don't want David's distracting. About, you know, I don't want white men to interview me, or I don't want white men to be in my movies. I hate white men, that type of stuff. She was kind of referencing with A Wrinkle in Time. It's got Ava DuVernay. It's got a multiracial, kind of biracial cast, right? And then she was talking about the target audience. So I agree kind of with what she was trying to say, but some of the things that she was saying kind of run counter to her. So the part where she's talking about did I say that yet? I'm all over the place, man. I'm sorry, guys.
You're good.
Yeah. She was talking about how she wants to hear, like, if Chris is my target audience, I only want to hear from Chris. Is basically what she was saying. If Justin's my target audience, I don't want to hear from Chris. I want to hear from Justin, right? So she was saying it wrong. People kind of took out of that, you know, different things. But I don't agree with that, because we need the different perspectives, right? We need, you know, it doesn't matter if you're the target audience, you know, who's the target audience for The Lion King?
Children.
Exactly. Who's going to go see it and talk about it and enjoy it? Everybody, right? So it doesn't have to be only the target audience or only whatever is recommended, giving their perspective. We need the multiple perspectives. So that part of what she said, I definitely disagree with. But I don't think that means that she hates white men and doesn't want white men around and anything like that. So that part kind of has made its rounds as what she said.
Well, I mean that's just hi, Allie. That all comes down as just everybody likes sound bites like that just because it's easy to sit there and take that and like see what she said, and it's just like that's not what she meant though. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
People took the I don't want to hear what a white man has to say about A Wrinkle in Time, and took only that sound bite and took the rest of it out of context.
I mean, but that's all you need though, is just to go because I mean on the other side of it too, and a lot of people want to look at everything and just say, well, because this, then we're gonna equate it this way. And like I've seen, a lot of people were really, I guess, stunned, and then on the other hand, like they took the fact that they were stunned and put it more towards like the fact that they were kind of angry that Black Panther had done so well, and like there were plenty of people that were saying, "Oh, this is ridiculous. Why is this movie? Everyone like all this movie is this." And a lot of it's funny because there was a lot of just the opposite opinion where it's like, "How many white guys are in this movie?" There's like 6. That's not fair. That's ridiculous. Why should we be cheering? And it's just like, dude, take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy. It's just I think really, she should have said it better. Absolutely. But the thing about it is just that everyone now, and it's funny too because I was listening to a comedian named Bill Burr that was like talking about something similar to like this thing, and he's just like he was saying about why he has other projects outside of show business that he does, and he's like because nowadays it's crazy when you think about how quickly someone can take something you say and just go with it, and next thing you know you're getting kicked out of whatever it was that you were doing without any sort of explanation or real due process to what's going on. People just hear you say something, someone can twist it however they want or take it however they want, and then that's it. Like you're all done. Just especially like if what you said is inflammatory, and that's the thing that luckily for her it hasn't kind of turned that way for her, just because I mean there's a lot of people that would sit there and take that and say, well, this girl said I don't want to hear what a white guy has to say about this and that. And the truth of the matter, hi baby, a lot of ice cream on your face.
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, let's say what you said is true. It goes on both sides, man. They both right and the left will take things out of context and use it against another person. I mean, oh my God, she's got ice cream all over her face.
Ice cream's so good.
Yeah. No,
that's why she's on a rampant.
Yeah, all that sugar in the ice cream. Yeah.
Man.
No, you're absolutely right. But both sides. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'll go next.
Okay, I was say you're absolutely right. Both sides do take things out of context, and that's
absolutely.
why definitely, I think we all agree. Go to the source, hear it for yourself. Make your own, formulate your own opinions based on what that actual person said versus what somebody else's interpretation of what they said is.
Well, just to get back to what I was saying before, like I remember a lot of people had made comments, and this is different personalities from all over the place, had said that they felt like because with Black Panther being the subject, that they thought that a lot of people it was getting such great reviews because if you were to say anything negative about it, well, then you're racist. And so they figured that people were afraid of being classified as racist because you know, if they said anything bad about it, and that's how they were trying to be like, oh, it's not really that good of a movie. Meanwhile, it made all that money. So, you know, regardless of how everybody wants to take it out. And I know like there was not as much backlash as certain things, but I think that, you know, when it comes down to it, it's just like, you know, I think it's all kind of a subculture that has kind of has kind of brought up just because of the fact that, you know, now everybody has an opinion that they can get out there at any moment in time. And, you know, you have to be careful of what you say, just because anybody can, I mean, it's all archived. Everything you do and say, if you're a celebrity, or if you're, you know, anything that you do, it's out there. You know, whether you say it on Instagram, whether you say it on Facebook, whether you say it on a news interview, it's all there. And it can, I mean, hi. The worst thing that you can have happen to you nowadays, I won't say the worst, but one of the worst things you can have happen is just something be taken out of context. Because, I mean, in the grand scheme of it all, it's like, did you say this? Yes, I did, but that's not what I meant. Well, guess what? You still said it, didn't you? Yes. And that's where everything kind of goes with it. So it's just, for her, I mean, she just, I think, maybe in just the at that timing, at that moment, you know, she was just feeling a certain way and just kind of said it, and, you know, didn't really think about how people were going to take that, you know, as it was coming out. She felt emotional about whatever it was that, you know, was asked of her, and she was like, you know what, I'm saying this. And, you know, it used to be a time, I guess, where you would reward people for being able to speak their mind, but now it's kind of like, you know, really gotta, you know, be careful of how you say it and what you say.
Exactly. I absolutely agree. And because of what she said, a lot of people are banning the movie, are upset with her specifically. And she did an interview the past couple of months. I think it was earlier in February. She was asked about it. Like, you know, what you said. Do you remember saying that? She said she didn't know. Have a hard time believing she didn't. She was up there receiving an award. You know, how do you forget that? Anyways, she kind of wanted to clarify or provide some more around what she initially said. And this is another quote, so we're getting right to the source again. What I'm looking for is to bring more seats up to the table. No one is getting their chair taken away. There's not less seats at the table. There's just more seats at the table.
Exactly.
So she wasn't talking about taking the white dude's chairs away. She was talking about adding more chairs, you know.
Yeah.
So that was her clarification on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you know, it sucks that in the moment, because of her, you know, for whatever reason, and I don't know if it was just something that at that moment kind of made her angry, and so she's like, you know what, I'm responding this way. But if she had just said, you know, it's all about having more seats at the table, like, you know, thank you for your opinion, but I want to hear about these other opinions too, because we want to have, you know, everybody kind of enjoy this movie regardless of where you are, who you are, what you're from, you know, where your views are. I think that there's something in this for everybody, and everybody should be included. Yep. Simple, nice, easy, to the point. You really can't find too much fault with that. But just, you know, anytime you're just like, man, it's just like, you gotta take it easy, you know. So it does suck in this day and age to have to sit there and, you know, be careful about what you say. But, you know, it's just nowadays we are, I guess, media obsessed and social media obsessed, like global community. I mean, it's not even just like, you know, you can't just break it down into a country. Like it's just a global thing that we all do. It's just so easy to find something that somebody said that's, you know, you didn't like, and to just take that and run with it no matter what. So, you know, just kind of hope that people find, you know, either people elevate the way that they speak, or that maybe we just decide that, you know what, let's just figure out a better way of dealing with disappointment, I guess, because that's what it seems like all around is that people just can't deal with things that they don't like, or, you know, something disappoints them. They just can't be like, whatever, man, and just move on. It's gonna be like, no, I'm gonna take this down because I just don't like this, and so because I don't like it, you can't have it. You know, it's too much of that.
Yeah.
Well, here's kind of how I see it. I mean, I agree with everybody saying, you know, politics and stuff like that. We just want to be entertained. We don't want to We just want to watch movies, escape, all that other stuff. But it's kind of hard when you're injecting your politics and propaganda in films to basically dumb down and brainwash the masses. And that's just how I see it. I want to watch a movie to escape from all this other stuff, but everywhere I go, if I'm seeing it everywhere, and football games and commercials and movies, and it's just trying to be force fed into your face, it gets to you. I guess it's easy for some people who maybe aren't really paying attention to it to just say, oh, just get over it. But when it's being kind of force fed on you, it kind of gets you, because it defeats the whole purpose of going to pay to see a film, to watch these things, when I'm constantly being bombarded with it. And I just think that that's just kind of getting to people, and people are getting tired of it.
I mean, I don't know, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I think I'll say it like this, because I remember. I mean, I don't think it's quite as rampant as that, but I do remember. And I mean, you can go. I guess you can look back at troop numbers and everything at the time, and this is in no way, shape, or form any sort of slight against the military. Everybody take it fucking easy, because I'm not gonna piss everybody off like that. I'm just saying in general. Like, I remember, it had to be like a good maybe 8 or 9 years ago, before you would get to see, like there was always a preview before every movie, and it was that song. I think it was it the guys who made that song Kryptonite? They made a song called Citizen Soldier.
Oh,
every single movie, it didn't matter what it was, just about every movie you went to see, if it was an action movie, it was played before. And it might have been to get people amped up to get recruited into the National Guard, because it was a National Guard commercial, and you would see it everywhere. I mean, people can get mad at all that, like, that's, but you know, I guess in a way you kind of have to.
But that was just the recruiting offices paying theaters to run their ads before movies.
I'm just saying, it's just like one of those things where it's just, I mean, it's still similar. You know what I mean? It's still one of those things where it's just like, you know, I mean, you're going to a movie just to see a movie. You're not there to sit there and, you know, potentially, you know, watch, you know, something to, you know what I mean? You're not there to be recruited, is my thing. I understand, like,
but by this argument, though, you're saying that we shouldn't see advertisement at all.
Not necessarily.
Because they're trying to recruit you to buy something. They're trying to recruit. I mean, the military is just a job. That doesn't have anything to do with political views at all. You're still an individual. That's just a job.
I think that's what all trailers are as well. It doesn't matter what the movie is. They're trying to recruit you to buy a ticket.
Yeah, like they want you to go in and see. I just feel like, all right, so a movie trailer, I can understand. It's just other stuff. Like movie trailer, buy the, you know, go to the refreshment stand, all the rest of that. I can understand that. I just think that there's, you know, it's tough to say that. I don't think that everyone's necessarily being, you know, brainwashed into certain things. I just think that when you know, it depends on certain things. Like if you know, if you feel like that's the way it leans, then I guess, you know, you kind of have to find your way to, you know, either try to find a way around it or not. Like I haven't gone into anything and be like, oh yeah, they're definitely saying this.
Yeah.
I just go in and just try to enjoy a movie, just because I think when you really like, if you try to find it, you'll find it. I mean, no matter what. I mean, you can, same as anybody can interpret something that someone says. And I mean, if you want to find some type of hidden meaning behind something that says, you know, if I want to watch The Little Mermaid and be like, oh, there's a hidden meaning that says, you know, that, you know, this thing here leads to this certain specific type of propaganda, and this, it's just, I mean, you easily can. I mean, there's a million crazy theories out there on everything. I just think that when it comes down, you know, you have the choice to choose if you want to escape that foolishness. I know, you know, unless you're going to something that, like, if it's a political thriller and, you know, this is what it is. I mean, well, the shit, I mean, that's the movie you sent up to see. But if you're just going to see like Bambi and something like that, or if you're going to see Captain Marvel or anything like that, and you're just like, yeah, no, I'm seeing all this, I don't like it. I mean, that's up to you. That's up to you. I mean, it still exists within you to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it be, or I'm gonna take this and be like, you know, I see all the, you know, either liberal or conservative views in this, and I don't like it. Well, I mean, still,
I think too, there needs to be a differentiation between representation and agenda. You know, with something like this, you know, it's obviously women empowerment. It comes out on like the women's, what is it, the Women's Day, Women's Day, something like that. Also, the whole month is all about women, but that doesn't mean that they're trying to like force something at me. You know what I mean? In terms of the movie, so that's not gonna like prevent me from going to see the movie or turn me off from it. I'll definitely see it, and I think that some of the people who are turned off by Brie Larson should see it. Because they like the superhero movies, not because they like Brie Larson or Captain Marvel. It's part of that overall story. It's part of that fun. It's in some ways, and I hate to say this, but seeing it in spite of her. There's so much more outside of Brie Larson. Yes, it's about her character, but it's part of this like much bigger story that we've loved for how many years now, a decade.
Yeah.
20 plus movies. This is going to be important as we go into Endgame. So
yeah.
And I don't. Also, why would you want this to fail? This is part of like the movies that we all love to go see and enjoy. And like you said, with escapism, that this should be part of that, and it is. And to want it to fail is kind of counterintuitive and counterproductive towards the end pleasure that we all want from all this, from the hobby. So that's just kind of how I see it.
Me too.
Yeah,
I get a little impassioned, but.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are too. Let me give you a couple more quotes here. So this is from Forbes. Captain Marvel, we talked about, we did our estimations. They're basically saying it could hit as high as 150. Positive buzz continues to grow. There are a lot of people who do want to see this movie. And that's evidenced in the ticket pre-sales. Okay. Captain Marvel has passed all other MCU films in advanced ticket sales, except obviously Infinity War and Black Panther. Yep. It recently passed Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and that's not just Fandango. We're going to talk about Fandango, who owns Rotten Tomatoes, in a second, but also Atom tickets. There's a lot of awareness out there, positive or negative. It's building awareness for the film. If you look at any of the go on. I don't know where you guys buy your tickets. I do AMC. I get the Stubbs A-list for that. So you can go on there and you can see what movies are sold out or not. Go to the opening weekend for Captain Marvel in your area, pick a bunch of those, and tell me how many tickets are left. You're going to see that there may be like a couple crappy seats like up against the wall that are still there. Like you go to the IMAX and you'd be down in the front row. But other than that,
well, that's what I was going to say. They said the same thing for Solo, and I would watch certain YouTubers that would actually go to specific movie theaters and look for seats, and there were still a buttload of seats still available on opening weekend for Solo. So they were saying the same thing for that, and for me, it's like you say that because there's still this. They still have to build up hype for the film, which, of course, is the reason I believe they disabled the old Rotten Tomatoes thing. I know you're going to get that here in a little bit, right. But they were saying the same thing about Solo, and ended up bombing. So I'm just not going to believe it until I see it. And not only that, but I think I told you guys that no MCU origin film has ever broke 100 million. So for them to say, a few weeks ago, oh, it's going to do 180 million. Then 160, then 140, and now they're saying 100. They're not even sure if it's going to break 100, and now it's like down to like 80. It just shows you that they're not even like sure about what they're saying, or if they are, it's just lies. I just think it's going to all come to the truth is going to be told opening weekend. In a couple weeks once that film hits, and just look at the, not to get ahead, but before they disabled it, the whole Rotten Tomatoes thing, it went from like 80% down to like 26% of people had interest in wanting to see this film, and therefore they disabled that part of Rotten Tomatoes.
So now, since you mentioned that, let's jump into that piece of it. So there's a couple parts to it. So Rotten Tomatoes, the first thing that we should say for Rotten Tomatoes is that they are owned by Fandango. Yeah. Who owns Fandango? Warner Media, not Disney. Warner Media owns Fandango. Who owns Rotten Tomatoes?
competitor.
Exactly. So that's an important kind of distinction to make. And this same phenomenon is happening with episode 9. There was a lot of people saying instead of going to see Captain Marvel, go see Alita Battle Angel, go see Shazam. Right? Zachary Levi went online and was like, "That's doing me a disservice. Don't come see my movie just because you don't like the other movie. Come see my movie because you want to see my movie." Right?
They don't open the same weekend.
No, they don't. They're like a month apart. But I do agree with that. Like, see it because you want to see it, not to see it just to spite something else. But my point there is this kind of phenomenon is happening with multiple movies. So what happened with this? And this is the way I take it. I definitely want to get your take on it as well. Well, all of you, but Edwin as well. So I'll jump to you right after I say it. The movie came up, and it had its. Okay, so let me back up. So there's a couple ways that movies, the reviews come out. The first one is the social media embargo when that's lifted. So they do the premiere. The people who go to the premiere are able to put up a couple really brief kind of comments on the movie. And there was a couple that came out. And I can tell you that was great 90s sci-fi vibe. The MCU feels more complete now. This suit's pretty balanced. It's a little wobbly at times, but only because it's so ambitious. It's hilarious, tons of surprises. Perry Nemiroff from Collider, she said she fell for Brie Larson's sass, strength and energy in the role. And then and then somebody else said, as a 90s teen, the soundtrack. Oh, the soundtrack. So those are some of the reviews that came out from the people that went to the premiere. And those are the social media. When that embargo lifted, that's what all people could say about it. The full embargo lifts on the 5th, right? A couple days before the movie. So nobody outside of those people who have gone to the premiere have seen the movie. Thanks, AG. As well as nobody has been able to do like a full review on it. So even those people, they still can't do a full review on it. So we bump over to Rotten Tomatoes, which is actually an aggregate site. It collects that data from other places. The reviewers and stuff, they don't actually do the reviews themselves. So that's another important distinction. So they have this section before a movie comes out where there was two buttons you could pick. You could do, I want to see the movie, or I'm not interested in the movie, right? Two of them. And then right below that, there was a comment section where I guess you could justify your answer for that. People were, and this is what it's called, review bombing. And that's why I mentioned the other movies, because it was happening where their ratings tanked. Like right after the Zachary Levi posted that, Shazam tanked.
Right.
There was some people organizing this saying, okay, let's go after episode 9 now. There's some like beams and stuff out there that actually reference that specifically. So people are going on and kind of mass clicking the not interested. And then there would be a little comment. And I think that's where you're referencing some of the comments, Edwin. Some people were saying, oh boy, first off, this will be the worse than The Last Jedi. I'm calling it now. Critics will love it. Audience will hate it. Why? Somebody else said, why Marvel decided to cast a very vocal racist and sexist aimed at white males, I'll never know. If Robert Downey Jr. did it, he wouldn't have had it. Somebody else said, tired of all this SJW nonsense. Somebody else said, strong women, more Hollywood BS. See, I'm giving you the quotes. I made sure to pull some of these quotes. So these were the comments that went along with not interested. They're basically all about Brie Larson, not the movie itself. And this, when you have an aggregate site, when you have something where you rely on the data, the accuracy of the data, like those ratings, those percentages, you want those to be as accurate as possible, because you want that to be something that somebody can reference and kind of rely on. Personally, I never went to Rotten Tomatoes for like, oh, that movie has a good score, I'm going to go see it or not. I didn't do that. I know people did, but if you're seeing these things where their movies are getting review bombed, that's damaging your data integrity, right? Those are grossly inaccurate numbers now. And if that's something that my company relies on, for the clicks or whatever, I'm not going to want to have that as part of my site anymore. So I know you said, Edwin, that you believe it's for, because people didn't want to see it, and it's to protect Disney. But I believe it's for them to protect the data integrity of the information that they're putting out. So I don't see it as what's the word I'm looking for? Censorship. I don't see it that way at all. I see it more as they took away something that probably shouldn't have been there to begin with, and that kind of made what their whole company is built upon inaccurate. So for me seeing that, it makes sense. Now, what I don't agree with is the owner of Rotten Tomatoes came out and said it's not related to that. This was just something that we had planned anyway. So I have a very hard time believing that, because that happened like a day or two after that. So it had to be related. So I don't agree with him coming out and saying it didn't, but I do agree with the choice to remove them. And I don't believe it's censorship. So that's my piece on it. I'll kick it over to you guys.
No, I agree. I think that the thing that most people are trying to shape this as is, oh, Disney's trying to protect it. And I think that in general, Rotten Tomatoes is trying to protect movies in general, because for them, that's how they make their money. And so, like, they don't want to have someone going in there, potentially causing trouble where, they're going to end up losing money out of it. But I do, agree when it comes down to them. No, this is just what we're going to do anyway. Don't bullshit people, man. Just say what the truth is. Look, we run this site for the mere fact that, we're trying to get, I guess, honest gauge of who wants to see a movie, who doesn't. There's new trend that we're seeing is something that we're going to get ahead of and stop before it can end up, basically we're trying to stop it now because we've had instances in the past where this is, crept up on us. So this is the action that we're taking, where we're just reacting to, a trend that we're seeing that we don't like. Perfectly fine to say that and go ahead. But don't say, oh, well, we were going to do this all along, because that comes off as disingenuous. And really, that's what is going to end up making them look like the bad guy in the whole situation. So,
right. But do you agree, though, that your company is built on the data, and if the data is wrong, you're basically useless now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because that's the first. See, now that would be one of the big things that because that's the exact thing that people are going to be like, oh, well, why would you go to Rotten Tomatoes? It's all full of shit anyway. It's all that everything's broken. It's all these different things. Like, I mean, for them to be able to make their money and to be able to exist, it has to be accurate data, at least as close to accurate as it can be. So for someone to actively go ahead and disrupt your business like that, I mean, you have every right to stop it, but just be honest about it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the thing about, and I agree with everybody about the whole Rotten Tomatoes, like nobody goes to Rotten Tomatoes to look at what, at least the reviews that the critics say. And I know this isn't like a review thing. It's a interested or not interested in the film. But people pay more attention nowadays to an audience score or audience review or audience reaction. Nobody cares about the critics. And so when you completely do away with something like that, so it's no longer, organic, I just feel like it is a sense of censoring, because basically what it's saying is, because you disagree with what other people might say or what the critics say or what we want you to say, we're going to silence you. We're going to do away with you. And I mean, that's just how I look at it. I've been studying of how the mainstream media works for the past 11 years, and I'm not going to get into it right now because it would be way too long on how they actually operate into trying to make money and deceive people and all this other stuff, but and injecting politics and all that stuff. But that's just how I look at it. I don't look at it any other way. And then when you look at, for the example of, I'll go back to Solo. I mean, nobody cared to see Solo. Everybody kept talking about it. It was a film that nobody wanted to see. Everybody wanted to see like a Luke Skywalker film instead or something like that. And so the interest for the Solo just dropped and dropped and dropped. And then, of course, a lot of the backlash from the Last Jedi, it just dropped and dropped and dropped. And I think they're starting to see this whole trend with the politics that they are trying to inject into people. And so that's just how I look at it. I know there's one way of like them putting it out there for you to read as their reason or their excuse for doing whatever they did with this. But, you know, I perceive it a different way.
Mhm.
So, you know, that's it.
Yeah. No, I completely respect that. Also, you know, there's people out there who just aren't interested in the movie. They just don't want to see it. It has nothing to do with any
It's like you
particular
do a
agenda.
video,
You know what I mean?
but it's like you do a YouTube video and you want to completely disable the thumbs down, only thumbs up. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Or like how Facebook does, they don't even give a thumbs down. All you can do is
Instagram too. I think, right?
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, imagine if you had both features. I mean, to kind of weigh, and I know I get it. You do get, you know, trolls out there and people who just want to hate for no reason, all that stuff. But I have a hard time believing that there's just thousands upon thousands of people that are just banding together to come together and trash. That was the same thing they said about last year with the whole what was the whole Black Panther thing that they said some Facebook group came together, and when you actually go to that Facebook group, it's made up of like 15 people. So they were really reaching to try to find a reason to.
There's plenty of people that want to go out there and just start shit because it's just like there's people that just have no better. Like they just want to put a turd in the punch bowl. Is that whole thing, and what it comes down to is just that if you can sit there and no one's going to listen to you, you could go ahead and just have your own opinion, but no one listens to you just speaking on the street. And it's just like, but with the press of a button, I can get, you know, at least it's out there, and I can do, you know, do that however many times, or get into a group and say, yeah, we all don't like, you know what I mean? But there's plenty of people that like doing stupid shit like that. Whether it's, you know, you know, just because they can just get a kick out of it, or if they're really, really like strongly, you know, against something like that. I mean, there's plenty of people that like to do that shit. Just the same as there's plenty of people that'll be like, you know, help me like something that, you know what I mean? It's just like people will ask for people to like stuff or whatever. Like it's on both sides. Like it's just one of those things where instant gratification is really, once you get a taste of it, and if you're somebody who really likes it, whether you like just watching people get mad like this, I mean, it's the same thing as people that are just go in and just say something inflammatory just to watch people get pissed off and come after them. It's just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Have you heard some of the interviews of the people? They've actually found some that are hard to find. The people who make the swatting calls.
Yeah.
Why do you do it? Because I feel like I'm in control of that person's life. I feel like I'm playing God with them, is what they've said in some of you could see them on YouTube and stuff. So my point there in agreeing with you, Chris, is that people like to do these types of things because they know that they're going to have an effect, because it gives them a sense of empowerment. They're having that impact for the positive or negative, right?
Exactly.
And if you're just kind of the normal person, you're not, you know, the John Campias of the review world. What platform do you go to have a voice? Where can you make an impact? And it's places like the Rotten Tomatoes, or, you know, things like that, where it's easy to click, or you don't have the words to be able to express kind of what your opinion or perspective on something is. But there you can just click a button and just say a couple quick things.
I'm not saying, I mean, I don't think it's, you know, this, you know, humongous, you know, huge population out there. But I mean, there's definitely, let's say for every 10,000, there's maybe 100. I mean, you know, they exist. And I mean, some people just, I mean, go to great lengths to make something just, you know, seem, you know, because they don't like it, they go to great lengths to go ahead and you know, put it out there. That, you know, whether it's them creating a bunch of different accounts to do it, whether they have, you know, a program or a bot set to go ahead and thumb something down, or just, you know, spam out, you know, different you know, comments or whatever. Like, people will go ahead and do whatever they have to do just to be able to say, I'm the one that brought this thing down, I'm the one that did this. Like you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like, if you look at it, it's similar to, like, if somebody, let's say somebody wants to open a business and somebody just doesn't want it there, and they galvanize enough people to say, we don't want this business here, regardless of if they're wrong or right. They're just like, no, we just don't want this thing here. And then at the end of it all, they're going to take credit for that person personally thinks that they're the reason why that business is not there. That, like, there's plenty of people with that mindset. You know, just because, like Jesse said, like you know, with the squatters, they want to feel like they're in control. So it's just like, you're not putting that business in my neighborhood because I don't want it there. That's all they care about. So yeah, there's
Right.
plenty of that.
Yeah. For this narrative to all fit, you'd have to have all of these competing companies working together, Disney and Warner and Rotten Tomatoes and
Yeah, and then
IMDb and YouTube and everybody kind of colluding to present that to people falsely. And I just I don't see that as being a feasible thing. Sure, maybe one company would do it or another one, but all of them working together to do that, I don't see that happening, honestly.
just because
Everything's controlled by 7 men. They meet each year at the Meta.
that's
They
right.
discuss
Power
the
Rangers
future
come
of the race of the people.
That's what it is. The Power Rangers have more power than you think.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
it's them.
So while we're talking about Star Wars, I came up with a good Star Wars sequel pitch.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna take it back to the first movie,
I'm
everybody.
so sorry because I already said that.
What?
I said it better not be titled "We're So Sorry" because I already said that.
No. We're gonna go back to the first movie, right? We're going back to the first movie. All right. And when Luke and Obi-Wan are in town, right? And they sell the speeder. Remember when they sell the speeder because they got to get some money so they can get off the rock, right? We're gonna go and we're gonna take a movie and we're gonna look at used speeder salesmen. I'm talking. This would be all over the place. We could do a TV show, man. When you talk about a streaming service, man, this is gonna be great. I'm pumped about it. I'm gonna go ahead and send it in right now. So I know they watch this. So permission to take the idea is okay. That's probably the only thing that could get me interested in Star Wars again right now. So whatever. I don't know. I'm just kind of bored with it.
There's definitely. I guess in terms of Star Wars, I mean, everybody knows it's going to be a lot of damage control that has to be done. There's so much. I mean, they basically backed themselves into such a hot corner to get out of that. Really, I mean, it's going to be kind of funny to see how they try to work it out and no, this like. I mean, it's almost to the point where I feel like J.J. Abrams should come out in the beginning and be like, all right, look, we know what happened. All right. I wasn't in charge of that film, just letting you know. There's certain things that we're going to try to figure out, but just give me a chance to do what I got to do. And just, if you don't like the movie, just, if you leave within the first hour, you get your money back. Thank you. Enjoy the movie. And then he just, then they put the scroll and everything. That's how it should start because it's just a weird situation where they are at with that movie. But, I don't know what's next for that whole franchise. I mean, even if they just decided that, all right, Skywalker saga is over, a whole new saga. Okay. But where do you even start? Because the damage is already still there and you kind of have to, work your way out of that. That just doesn't go away.
We'd have to go really, really, really far back in time. But then the Brie Larson thing, why? Who cares what an actress says or an actor says? Why do y'all care? Why?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Just don't. Just who cares? And then Rotten Tomatoes. Have you ever actually gone to Rotten Tomatoes to see what other people thought of the movie? No. No. You just watch the trailer. You watch the trailer, and then if it looks cool, you're like, all right, cool, I'll see that. I don't care what other people think.
I do go there just to, when my wife.
Are the lights pretty? Do things blow up? Are there fast cars? There's the shiny stuff. Okay, I'm in.
When my wife wants to watch these movies that she does on Amazon from time to time, I do bring it up and this is first of all, it's got that green tomato squish. I was and it's got 7%. Why are you watching this? But on Netflix when they used to do the stars, it's you're watching a 1-star movie? 1 star? Really? So I do that to make fun of her. But as far as actual seriously taking into a movie that I want to see, I'm just kind of yeah. I mean, it's whatever.
I know. I want to see it as soon as I hear the title of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. My decision is made in the very. I mean, something really bad has to happen in order for me to be I don't know about this. But
yeah, Rambo 4. You're yeah, I'll wait.
Yeah, just I mean, and there's times where you just have to kind of just. I mean, movies. As far as I knew, growing up, it's just it's all about having fun. It's just I can't wait to see this thing. I remember being And I know I was young, but I was excited about Mortal Kombat, the first one. I was so excited for that movie, and it wasn't horrible. And then so
Dude, no, when that movie came out, you thought it was awesome. We
Oh, of
all
course.
thought it was awesome. When we first saw that movie, it was awesome.
and then so you know, my same excitement existed for Street Fighter, and that movie wasn't all that great. And I wanted to believe it was great to an extent, but it wasn't. And
Well, I don't think Street Fighter has cool of a soundtrack as Mortal Kombat had.
Oh no!
Oh god, that was so good. That first Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about like riding around on like the lawnmower listening to that thing, man.
If you were a rap fan, actually Street Fighter had a very good soundtrack if you like rap.
Yeah, but then you just got the visual of Van Damme the whole time in your head. Like, oh.
Nah, the Ice Cube song was good, and then the Nas song was good.
What about the Blade song? Remember from the
Oh
first
yeah,
movie?
the rave. Yeah, from the
Yeah.
rave scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. Well, that and the whole Crow soundtrack. I mean, there were some great
God.
soundtracks.
but yeah, the
90s,
second
man.
Mortal Kombat movie, I remember, you know, people being like, "Oh, it's gonna be great, like the first one," and it's just like, they
Is
just
that called Annihilation?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was just kind of like, just seeing the trailer, I was like, I don't know about this one. So, it just happens like that. So sometimes you get excited for a movie, and then later on you're like, ah, shit. The first Highlander, not the first.
the second one was horrible. The second one was stupid.
The last one where the TV Highlander met.
Yeah, with Endgame. That was Highlander
Endgame.
Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Which
I guess
one was the Quickening?
Was it?
that was the second one, I thought. Well, they
No,
all
the Quickening was the one with just Adrian Paul after that, and it got weird, like the universe thing at the end.
With like the gods or whatever, like he did the Quickening, and then what happened? Okay,
In the woods, yeah.
Yeah.
Low budget there at the end.
But yeah, it's just like, they put all the, like, you sit there and it's just like, all right, they put all the good stuff in the trailer. Because and back in, this is like way back in the day. It's just like, you would go to other people to hear like, oh, like, people like, oh no, you don't want to see that one just because like all the good stuff's in the trailer, man. Just the rest of the movie's stupid. Okay.
Oh, so wait. Sorry. I'm going back to the Highlander thing. Endgame and Annihilation. Maybe we need to be rewatching the Highlander movies to figure out the MCU going forward.
Dun dun dun.
Maybe.
Maybe it's Doctor Strange or the Quickening is next.
I mean, but in general,
I don't know, I'm just being
That'd be funny.
I think that, when it comes down to it, just with the Rotten Tomatoes, and for them to protect their own integrity is a good thing. But we'll see. Just because I can do like Stephen Colbert says and say, tip of the cap for protecting your integrity. Wagging the finger for lying about it though. Like that does kind of it does kind of make me not trust them as much as take them at their word, really, just because it's like, well, why would you lie? It's such a stupid thing to lie about. Like, so I mean, my usage of that site is so minimal that it doesn't matter. So I mean, I just don't like the fact that they tried to lie. So I won't let them get that. I won't give them a pass on that.
Right.
But for the rest of it, it's just like, whatever, man. Just
yeah. I think them removing that's more about the data integrity. So that part of it, I'm okay with that part of it.
The fact that the score fell so fast seems like it was artificially induced just because nobody cares that much.
Right.
Other than, it's like the dude who killed Jason Todd. One guy. Guy who killed Jason Todd.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's easy enough to create accounts with bots, and you can just flood a website with reviews. So.
Damn it, Justin! That should have been my entire argument. That's all you need. Is that guy went to great lengths to get rid of Jason Todd, and he won.
So I mean, you take it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah, who knows how great Jason Todd could have been? How you just Robin for a while.
Nobody wanted to kill him.
Except for that
one dude.
Except the one guy.
That one dude's like, I've had enough. It's Dick Grayson. Nobody.
Writers had to go back and rewrite the issue.
That's right. Yeah. So okay. So let me ask you guys: when are you seeing the movie, or are you?
I'm going to
comes out next Friday, right? Next Friday. Okay.
I'm entertained seeing it, but I'm gonna wait and see some YouTubers who do a lot of reviews I'm not going to look at the shill reviewers and some of the other ones, but I'm going to look at some of the lower level. I think I said that before.
Oh, lower level? Okay, yeah. I'll tell you what I thought about it, man.
Hey, I'll listen to your review. All right.
Yeah.
I'll even listen to Jesse's. I mean, it's kind of funny because
I'll even listen.
I feel like even
Thanks.
Jesse's not biased
Yeah.
or anything like that. No, hey, I'll listen to you guys.
Backhanded, like.
No, I try to be as
Jesse.
yeah. I try to be as
listen to
honest and
Venom and
balanced,
stuff.
as possible. I
Yep.
do.
So you've already seen it, though, right, Jesse?
Nope. On the 5th, I'm seeing it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's the same day that the full embargo lifts.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah,
day
so, I mean,
the reviews come out.
Comes out on the 8th, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll get reviews next week. So, I mean, man, I wonder what we're going to be saying in a week's time on this show about what the news is of the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully I get my 200 million. Because I just want to be right on one of those polls for the first time.
You playing the lottery?
Yeah.
Well, no. Just, how I said, our predictions. I have yet to win a prediction, so I want a prediction.
The fun one's gonna be Endgame. That came on early tracking at 280.
Yeah.
400
So
million.
I heard somebody ask the question, what will come first? Because we had $200 million opening weekends, $300 million opening weekend, or a $3 billion movie.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Right.
Because, I mean, I have to think about that. Like, how many times are people going to see that? I mean, I think that depending on
how many times are people going to see that weekend?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. It's just like, okay, want to see, because I know for a fact, if it lives up to or surpasses what Infinity War was, I'm gonna get a second ticket that same weekend to watch it again, just because it was torture waiting another week to go ahead and see it again. I was like, oh my god, I have to see all these scenes one more time. This is so cool. So,
well, with inflation, the cost of movies going up, I think it's just a matter of time before we get to a $3 billion movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, it'll be, and
we'll get there.
what it'll really be is when it'll be easier for it to happen when movies are actually released. You can just watch them at home.
Yeah,
a lot more people will like. I just feel like that'll be an easier way.
Yeah.
Friday night, instead of fighting a crowd, you can just like sit in your living room and just
possible. But a mom with
$20.
3 kids, that's 4 tickets instead of just 1 ticket streaming in your television.
That's a lot of saving. That's a lot of savings. Just staying at home and watching it then.
You do.
Yeah, it just depends, but you gotta think about it. It'll be to a point when at some point we'll get rid of movie theaters.
All right.
Hopefully not, because you watch the movie at home, but you go to the theater still, and you get your popcorn and soda, and then go back home and just watch it then. Like, yes.
Yeah, but you want that big screen experience, man.
Oh, I'm fine with it. Like, I mean, I would.
And I get the Dolby 3D IMAX in my house. Until then, I want to go to the theater.
Well, I mean, everybody would. I mean, just because better, sound and visual and everything like that. But I mean, it would be pretty badass to be able to sit there and be like, all right, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna sit there and watch this movie. Like, I'm gonna laugh when I want to laugh. I'm gonna sit there and I'm not gonna miss something because everyone's like.
I can pause it when I want to go do something.
And then if there's there won't be any nonsensical clapping. I already did clap because Thor's on the screen. It's not easy to stop the movie and say thank you. I hope you all enjoy. I'm ready to go ahead and destroy.
Wait. So you're saying last Avengers movie you didn't like freak out, clap, do something when Cap showed up on screen?
No, I was just like, yeah, that's about it.
Oh, whatever.
I don't. Because I mean, I think the worst for me was seeing Guardians, the first Guardians movie. There was one guy in front of me that was just, I mean, he was just losing his shit, and he was like laughing at the jokes a little too loud, and just like when the dude says something about like, oh, I was like going there with a black light, it's like a Jackson Pollock paint. This dude like literally lost his shit. It's just like I don't need to be. It's not that funny. I'm down. But like his laugh wasn't even funny. That like it was like, oh, he laughs funny, so it makes me want to be like, I can laugh along. I was just like, you're really annoying the shit out of me. Like, stop laughing now. But
I clapped when Thor showed up. with Stormbreaker, the lightning.
Yeah.
But he didn't aim for the head.
Smash the ground. Yeah.
That's not
He didn't aim for the head.
Actually, yeah.
Should have aimed for
He
the arm.
should have.
I don't understand why he said should have aimed for the head. If he cut off his arm, that's it. It's not attached to his body anymore. You can't time stone that.
That's right.
His arm's not
Timestone D's.
actually have its own will.
So somebody in the chat mentioned Alita Battle Angel. That was a great freaking movie, guys. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but that got some slings and arrows thrown at it too. They're like too sexy. This android chick is too sexy looking. Why would they put that? Anyways, don't listen to that.
They haven't looked at the book.
Yeah. I highly recommend it. I am calling this movie this year's Ready Player One. And I'm 100. I know it's early in the year still, but I'm 100% confident that this movie will be up for Best VFX next Oscars.
Nice.
That's how much I think it's good.
Yeah.
And the photorealism there, like you're watching it and you actually forget that Alita is completely CG. That it was Rosa Salazar had this like crazy like mocap thing on her face, so that's how they're able to capture all of her emotes and her tics and everything. So it looks really, really real. And just really cool action scenes.
I'm definitely have to check that out.
You guys got to check it out.
Yeah, I want to definitely.
It's funny too. Like I like that you brought up Ready Player One, just because I remember like I had seen it initially in theaters, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And then now it's on HBO, and so like I actually just got a chance to sit down and watch it again, and just like that actually was a very fun and actually pretty good movie. All together and all around. It's just like I think that it didn't get. I think that it got kind of lost in the shuffle because Infinity War was coming out the same year. It's just like, oh man, but it actually was a very fun movie, and I'm like, I kind of wish that there was some more to it where you could have a sequel again to see something cool like that, just to see all the characters and how they did it was actually a really fun and awesome idea. So the fact that you're comparing Alita to that makes me happy that I want to go see Alita.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, guys. Well, we're getting up to the end of the show here. I would just want to kind of bring it all back around to what I was saying at the beginning of the topic was like anything, go to the source, see it for yourself, formulate your own opinion. And to Edwin's point too, don't just listen to what you're told, because those people have their own perspective that might not be the same as yours, might be a different agenda. Go to where they're getting their information and get your own opinion from that. And same with the movies. You hear the reviews, you hear the critics, you hear this and that, but until you see it for yourself, you don't truly know.
Exactly. That's what I think. And just have some fun. Like allow yourself to have some fun from it, for a change. Like it doesn't have to be. Not everything has to be, absolute perfection all the time. Just allow yourself to have some fun and just formulate your own opinion. That's what I think.
Exactly. So, all right. Justin, are you doing another unboxing this Sunday, or what's going on for updates for you?
Need to do a haul video tomorrow. And an unboxing from our good buddy Brian. Sent me some awesome stuff that is amazing. Good old Brian B, Mr. Take the Time Collectibles. What else was there? There's also the Last Ember unboxing that I still need to do. So sorry about that, Brant.
Nice. All right, cool.
Definitely that'll be tomorrow. So
awesome. We're looking forward to that. So cool. How about you, Edwin? What's going on over in Strictly Comics world?
I'm gonna get a video out soon. I got some books from CBCS I need to show off. I got a bunch of stuff I got to show off. I just haven't had time, but I'll probably get that out sometime next week. I'll definitely have more time next week.
Okay, cool. Definitely check it. It's Strictly Comics with an X on eBay. So guys, be sure to check it out.
All one word, yo. Loading it up.
Yeah. Awesome.
Loading it. I got almost 200 items for sale.
Wow. Good category.
So did somebody buy the Daredevil 319 through 325 with the extra variant?
The Fall from Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't
Was
you.
that on
was
your watch list?
No, it went away. I got sad.
Oh yeah. Somebody bought that. I figure you were watching something Daredevil. So
Yeah, it was.
That's when everyone's like, "Oh, not for sale."
Oh,
Like Justin is like, "Oh, not for sale." Sorry.
but I thought you said you already had that storyline.
yeah, no, I still just.
Justin should get right of first refusal on any Daredevil
But he
thing.
doesn't have that extra variant thing or whatever it is.
You're like, wait, before you bid, let me check something. No, I was just checking. Just because you said that popped in my head, man. I had to check. So, no, good job moving stuff. Good job moving stuff. Keep it going.
Appreciate it.
Cool. All right, Chris, what's going on update wise for your channel?
Wow. See, now I have Edwin now is the one that has fallen behind, I guess, and needs to make a video. I have actually made a video.
Yes, you did.
It's up there. And I have another one actually recorded and ready to go, showing basically just a bunch of stuff that I've been getting. So I'm back. I have a video up, and the next one's I'm gonna go ahead and upload my other one that I've recorded tomorrow, and just keep it going, man. I'm getting things rolling again. So Edwin, challenges to you, make that video.
I will, man.
I don't care what you put in there. I don't care how much you put in there.
If you can do it, anybody can do it.
Because it's just, if I can do it, you can do it, and we can all get back into it, making videos, having fun.
Edwin's gonna throw up like a 3-minute video tomorrow.
That's all you need.
That's right.
The shorter, the better. That's how people.
That's right.
Audience retention the whole time.
That's all right. All right, awesome. So we'll be looking forward to that, Edwin. Make sure you put that up. No, whenever you're ready, be looking forward to it. So cool. I do want to thank everybody who was here with us in the chat, the live chat. If you are listening later, definitely, drop us a comment on any of these. We want to hear your opinion on it one way or another. And I was looking at some of the videos for the Brie Larson Captain Marvel topics specifically. So I'm anticipating a bunch of thumbs down, which is perfectly fine. If that's how you want to voice your opinion on this, I'm ready for it. So that's cool. But if you do, if you have time or whatever, so inclined, leave us a comment. Let us know which of the opinions you're disagreeing with by thumbing it down. So we'd be interested in that. And like I said, one way or another, we definitely want to continue that conversation. So we'll be excited for that. Also, I do want you guys to check out Take the Time Collectibles. He's here in the live chat with the Blue Wrench. He does have a contest going on, 100 winners. Some things you got to do for it. And I'll tell you, he will not, give you just any old thing.
Yeah, you will not be. You will not be disappointed.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely check that out. Also, be sure to check out comicbook.com any day, but especially Mondays. Justin puts up the new comic list there, so you guys can take that to your shop. You'll be armed with the latest list of everything coming out. That way you won't forget or miss anything. So that's
the other way I look at it is sometimes you walk into your shop and some books are already gone. You may not even remember that a book came out.
Right. Yeah.
And like Wonder Woman's already gone. You wanted that big cover. It's already gone. Now you didn't even think about it.
Yeah. And then like a week later when you're cataloging, you're like, I have a gap here. What happened? Yeah.
Crap. That did come out. Oh, I missed it.
Exactly.
Now you got to go hunt it. But
by then it was already on the Bolo list for CBSI, and it's a $25 book.
Crap. Right. Happens all the time.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Well, thank you guys once again. Definitely check out the movies or not, whatever you want. But make your own opinions on things, even if it's opinions on this show here. So that's it. This is Comic Conversation. We'll be back next week, and enjoy your night. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one, everybody.
Good night, everybody.